Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to episode 125 of the Best Bits of Atom Radio's Breakfast Show, and this is Mark Denholm from Breakfast on Atom Radio, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 until 10, and we're guiding you through the best bits of breakfast this week. Obviously the end of the first week here in England where schools went back. I hope the school was positive and the tests were negative, if you get what I'm saying. Hopefully it all went well. On the way in the podcast this week, things that you wrongly got in trouble for, misrepresenting yourself. We discovered a spoilt brat that we've spoken about before, wrong kind of Piers, sounds, a misappropriated moggy, and habits as well, which came about inspired by sounds. All that and more makes up the best bits of breakfast this week on Atom Radio's podcast. Settle back and enjoy, and when you finish, don't forget to subscribe. AtomRadio.co.uk. Today instead, and I start with a rather embarrassing revelation here, but today we are doing something based on what happened to me on my very first day at school. Now, I was only 4 at the time, and my mum took me to school and dropped me off and had to come and get me at lunch because somebody had sat in my chair, and me, being a 4-year-old little me, thought it was a good idea to drag them out my chair and start a fight. And my mum obviously had to come and get me. Not really a proud revelation, but it's a fact. It's what actually happened, and we can't go back and change that now. So my question for you today, on air at atomradio.co.uk is my email address to tell me the most ridiculous thing you ever got in trouble for at school.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
I think like this may have happened to more than just you, Dave, but thank you for your email. Dave says, I got in trouble for being late to a lesson when the teacher in the lesson beforehand had asked me to stay behind because he wanted to talk to me. So it's not my fault. I couldn't just say no. And then I was obviously late to the next lesson. I explained this, and I still got a lunchtime detention for it, and it wasn't even my fault. I'm with you on that, Dave. Like, I don't know when you went to school, but you'd have thought now teachers could just message, couldn't they, and say, really sorry, kept Dave behind, really sorry. Whereas, you know, like when I went to school, there was none of that. But yeah, that's fairly unfair.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
I love this from Ian. At the age of 16, I got a moped and I rode it into school, and I thought, well, I'll just park where the teachers park. I got in trouble for that. Like, it was only a tiny moped, it was tucked in the corner, and I got in trouble for that.
Yeah! Mark Denholm. AtomRadio.co.uk.
Burger King made the headlines yesterday. On International Women's Day, Burger King put out a tweet, "Women belong in the kitchen." This has been jumped on by those that wanted to stir the pot. The truth is, it was part of a thread highlighting the gender ratio in the kitchen.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
All the small things, I will play that for all of my friends who are on the shorter side. I do know quite a few short people, to be fair. Somebody the other day, though, claimed that they were 5'7". I was pretty certain this was with their high heels on, but they're saying they're 5'7" without. How do you say, in the nicest, most polite way, I don't believe you at all?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
I do hope you're very well, as we are kicking off another day and another pound. I would say another day, another dollar, but we are in the United Kingdom and therefore we are dealing with pounds, although there's no alliteration if you do it my way, is there? Today, the 9th of March, National Get Over It Day. What should people get over? Some people should get over themselves. It's also National Meatball Day as well today, but you can't go to IKEA and enjoy those. And it's National Barbie Day as well. Q Aqua. No. Just joking. This morning, we are asking about a situation happened last night, and I will save embarrassment here by not giving names. But I got an SMS last night, and I don't often get those, normally WhatsApp. The only person who really SMS messages me is my son, because he's only 5 and he doesn't have WhatsApp. He only has Wi-Fi on his iPhone, so he therefore uses iMessage. That's the only time I ever get those. But I got one last night, and this lady, whose name I do now know, calls her other half Chicken Licking. How do I know that? Well, because she sent me a message that was clearly supposed to be for him. Basically said, "Hey Chicken Licking, hope you had a good Monday. Change my phone number and this is my new number." Well, she sent it to me and not to whoever Chicken Licking is. And I did message her back and I said, "Not Chicken Licking, but thanks for your new number. Who are you?" And she then she said she was embarrassed and apologised for it. But my question would therefore be today on the email onair@atomradio.co.uk, at what time have you used in the wrong situation a cute pet name, nickname, whatever you want to call it, for your other half? At what time have you been caught out using it at the wrong time? onair@atomradio.co.uk.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Morning, Mick. Hope you're all right. Mick says, "Morning, Marky. Quite embarrassing. I phoned my wife at work and she didn't answer the phone. So I asked her colleague if I could speak to my wife. She said, yeah, no worries." Heard her put the phone down. She walked off. And then about 20 seconds later, someone came back. I heard the phone get picked up. Didn't really listen to the voice on the end of the phone, and then used my wife's pet name, "Hey," and I won't say what it is because it does refer to a part of the body. "How are you?" And you can imagine my embarrassment when it was the colleague who came back and told me she hadn't found my wife.
Yeah! Mark Denholm.
Monday morning, 10th of March today, it's National Mario Day. It's-a me, Mario. Even though that's not my name, I may just adopt it for the day. Also, for the parents getting kids ready for school later on today, it's National Pack Your Lunch Day as well. So there you go. Make sure you only put things in that the school approve of. I know I'd have been in so much trouble if I'd have taken my packed lunch from my school days to school now. I would have been in so much trouble for that.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
From the news, an unemployed man who tried to sue his university for giving him a 2-1 degree rather than a first and failed, has now decided that he will sue his parents, trying to force them to cover his living costs for the rest of their life. So this man had a job but has now been unemployed for 10 years. 2018, he launches the case against the university, which is thrown out. Now in 2021, the 41-year-old Fayaz Siddiqui is trying to force his parents into basically paying for his sorry ass to exist. He lives rent-free in their £1 million Hyde Park home, and he wants a £400 a week allowance as well. Basically, he wants pocket money and rent-free accommodation. I would love to see him lose this in court and then have to pay the fees for this. Lawyer for his parents has said these long-suffering parents have their own view on what is suitable provision for their difficult, demanding, and pertinacious son. I think what they wanted to say was, he's a spoilt brat and he can just jog on. That would have made more sense in my book.
Yeah! Mark Denholm.
Yesterday was the first Good Morning Britain without Piers Morgan, and a Twitter campaign started. The 55-year-old's departure caused quite a few celebrations and also quite a few sad reactions as well, meaning that yesterday, #BringBackPiers was trending on social media. This obviously pleased fans of Mr. Morgan, however others couldn't resist the opportunity to have a bit of fun with it, flooding it with snaps of their favourite seaside structures. Hashtag bring back Piers with Galway Pier. Hashtag bring back Piers. Why are they getting rid of Piers? I quite like this one. Another picture of a pier. And then some people have even gone as far as to Photoshop Piers Morgan into a photo of a pier as well. So yeah, people obviously aren't taking it seriously, are they? I'd say no.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
A politician has come under fire. Lindsay Ash made a remark tweeting that Oprah Winfrey looked like Ian Wright dressed up in drag as Mrs. Doubtfire for the Harry and Meghan interview, which is basically what millions of other people said on Twitter.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
This morning, this is inspired by something I saw on my Facebook yesterday, where my friend Sean posted that a program that was on with kissing in, people should have muted the sound editor. You know when you... That bit, according to Sean, should have been muted. Although it wasn't like that. It was slightly more intense than that. And she's saying, the sound of it's just terrible. Should have been muted. So therefore, this morning, I throw it over to you. What sounds really annoy you? Like, there's another one as well. Hang on. I haven't got enough tea. I'll need to go make a cup of tea to do it. I just thought I could hammer the dregs out of it. There's another one that annoys another friend of mine. If I slurp my tea, that annoys her greatly. So yeah, there you go. That's my point put across. Now let's hear yours on air at atomradio.co.uk. Sounds that really, really annoy you and rather weren't made.
Yeah! Mark Denholm.
Do you know what? If I hadn't read this with my own eyes and somebody told me, I would not have believed this, but a Just Eat driver has been accused of stealing a cat from a customer to curb a mouse infestation at his pizza place. CCTV allegedly shows the man leaving a building in Paris while carrying the animal, which belongs to the concierge. Caroline Simon Provost, who works as a trainee lawyer, raised the alarm after the pet disappeared shortly on Tuesday evening. The cat was discovered shaking in a corner of the eatery the next morning, but the driver who manages the restaurant insisted instead that he found it on the street. A formal complaint has been launched with the police. Sacre bleu.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
We do start hour 3, however, with a complaint. I have had a complaint. Morning, Suzanne. Thank you for your email. Suzanne says, Mark, I listened to you yesterday morning. You said that it would be heavy rain, downpours, and windy. So I dug out my big coat yesterday and I put it on and I left the house thinking, well, you know what? Like it must be getting windy later on or heavy downpours later on. And it just didn't. It was bright all morning long. There was a tiny shower in the afternoon and I felt like a complete idiot in my big coat. So thank you for that. Suzanne, can I just say, firstly, sorry, but I'm apologising on behalf of the weather people. I only read what I get given. I'm not an expert on weather by any stretch of the imagination. I couldn't ever forecast the weather. So I only read what I get given. So I would like to apologise for your look that you didn't intend to go for yesterday, but not entirely my fault.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Now, we're asking you this morning about annoying habits that your other half has that you've asked them to stop, but they just don't stop. And Natalie has emailed me this morning on air at atomradio.co.uk is my email address. Natalie, I think that you may have here grounds for divorce. This is serious. If I could be bothered to find one, I'd do a drum roll, but I really can't. Natalie says, my husband always hangs the toilet roll on the toilet roll holder the wrong way round. So the toilet roll comes out from behind down the bottom rather than in front over the top. Natalie, that's almost criminal. You know what? That is almost criminal, because it's such a simple thing to get right, and I know it's like a long-held debate, but we all know there's only one right and only one wrong there. Toilet roll down the bottom, out the back. Wrong. Toilet roll down the front, out the over the top. That's the way to go. So, Natalie, have a word with your husband. Tell him to consider himself officially chastised and put him on notice. atomradio.co.uk. Oh, come on, let's be honest. We all have bad habits, don't we? Some are worse than others, but we all have bad habits. And the thing is, I'm willing to bet that there are some people that when you say about a bad habit, like, oh, please, could you not do that? I bet there are some people who will just crack on and do it even more when they find that you're annoyed by it. So, yeah, it's always a balancing game over whether you say something or not about bad habits, isn't it, when you're in a relationship? Because they might say, oh, I'm really sorry, and try their hardest not to do it. Or they might think, well, that annoys them, I'll do it even more. I don't know, like in a relationship, I probably would try and stop it. But just like, you know, in normal day-to-day life, if I found something annoyed someone, I'd find it hard in the short term at least, not to do it even more, just for fun. Anyway, that wraps up episode 125 of the podcast. Monday morning, 6 a.m, we'll start another week, and you can listen on Atom Radio and a number of other platforms as well. Keep yourself well, keep yourself safe. See you Monday.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
Atom Radio.
The Breakfast Show
With Mark Denholm.
on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.